Conan the Barbarian #1. This one is at Marvel. Previously, Conan was at Dark Horse Comics. So this is the first issue at Marvel, and they put Jason Aaron on the book. And Jason Aaron is currently writing the Thor series, and this Conan the Barbarian is very, very similar to Thor. The artwork in this one is done by Mahmoud Asrar, and the artwork's pretty nice. So Conan the Barbarian, is very swords and fantasy style stuff. And when this issue starts out, we see Conan, and it's very reminiscent to Thor in the sense that there's I think a current day King Conan, and then a previous Conan the Barbarian when he's not king, which is very similar to what Jason Aaron's doing in Thor. He has like his King Thor who's really old, and then the young Thor. So I didn't really like that he was using that same kind of method here, but nevertheless. So we go back in time, and we have Conan when he's younger, and he's in this gladiator pit, and he's fighting this guy, and the battle is very exciting. People are taking bets on it. There's this woman in red, and she bets on Conan, and she wins a whole bunch of money. And then eventually, once Conan, of course, wins the battle, he starts talking to this sexy woman in red. And then they go back to some place, and they start, making out and stuff. But then it turns out that this sexy woman in red is actually this hideous witch. And halfway through their intercourse, she changes into this witch creature, and apparently, I guess she's scratched Conan, and he's been poisoned. Then he passes out. Next thing you know, he wakes up, and he's tied to the ground in this big chamber. And this witch goddess person, she's gonna do some sort of ritual, and she says that she's worshiping this guy Raziel, Archdemon of the Elder Knight, the glorious and fearsome Red Rod of Doom. And she wants Conan's blood to use in this ritual to bring her Dark Lord back into the present day right then. So all of a sudden, the blood starts sort of awakening these skeleton creatures, but then Conan, he busts out of the chains he was tied in, and then he starts killing this witch, starts killing all of these skeletons that have popped up, and finally he escapes this place. And then we do a time jump several years, now when he's King Conan, and we see him on this battlefield, and it looks like his side has just won, and they're walking over all these dead soldiers, and all of a sudden we see these two kids, and they're orphans, and King Conan starts talking to them, but then find out that the kids are also worshipping this Raziel guy, and they are kind of stealing these bodies, and they are flesh stealers. So Conan is talking to them and wondering what their whole deal is, and this issue ends with that witch goddess person popping up from existence once again and stabbing Conan, and he's on the ground and he's crawling to survive. So I thought this was a pretty interesting debut issue. It was pretty fun, all of this Conan the Barbarian world and seeing all these crazy creatures, and the artwork's pretty sweet. It's very reminiscent of Thor, so if you like Thor, you're going to like this. If you're not that into Thor, though, and you're not that interested in Conan as a character, maybe this isn't for you, but I did enjoy it. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I think I'm going to check out future issues.